Okay, I'll do a sound check. I've got some sound here. Let's see who's joined me here. Glad to see you here, Libby. And I'm going to wait a couple of more minutes and have a few things to do today as we are working through Chapter 10 and some more interactive things. So let me close this off. So and in the event that I have somebody come in, I'm at the lab. I'm going to go ahead and turn that on and get the now. See myself. I saw Libby, and glad to see you, Christian, and others will be joining. Now, last week I asked all of you to go into the discussion area and post your dream car. I think I asked you to do that. I had a few people, not a ton, but a few who went in. And see if this is where I think I posted here. Nobody did. I think everybody went over in here to the announcements area. And it may have been something I wasn't allowing an upload. But I'm going to start with you, Libby. Nice job. Glad to see. And who else has joined us? Okay, we got Houston. Glad to see you here. And we're going to look at the shoe design Libby chose. I guess wanted some Nikes. And I don't know if we got the login to do this or not. Well, all right. What that's all about. That's strange. Well, I'll close that off for just a second. Because I want to see your shoe design, and I'm not seeing it. And it should just be your document. Well, let me see if I can look at Shane's. No. Okay. I'm going to have, what I'll have to do is download those and take a look at it. Guys, I'm sorry. I'll take a look at it. I see Dalton and Hudson did as well. And let's see a link. You provide a link. Let's see if it'll take us out there. I should have had everybody. Well, no, it's not going to do me any good. It's wanting me to sign into an account. Oh, I see what it's trying to do. It's trying to put us into Office 365. So let's forget about that. I'm sorry. That's okay. What I'll do, I will find a way to retrieve those and get them out. Guys, wanted to have you do that. And this week and I apologize about that. I'll try to get them downloaded and then posted where everybody can see them, because it's trying to handle it like an Office 365 application, and it's not working. Now, the module that we're on, this is module the week of 10/30. This is week 10, and you've got some assignments that'll be due that are due. The interactive session number 6 from pages 400 to 401, and then a hands-on MIS project. Okay, that's due Friday, and then the Loudon chapter 10 exam is due Friday. Now, chapter 10 is about electronic commerce. Okay, and I want to take a couple of minutes and just go through some of the highlights there in chapter 10 as they talk about it. Okay. Some of it's pretty good, some of it not so great. So I can find it here, and then I'll open this up, okay? And I think I can handle this as a slideshow on this screen. And what they show you here is that and this is, I'll take this back for a sec. This, and I'm just gonna open this up as a preview. That's going to let me control it. Now, you got to bear in mind that while this shows that e-commerce in terms of billions it's growing and growing and growing, you got to understand that electronic commerce is only about 7% of all economic transactions in the United States. Okay, so it's growing rapidly. but it still is not, you know, people get in their heads sometimes that half of everything is sold to sold on, and that's just not true. So you need to kind of put it in perspective, but it is growing very, very rapidly, as you can see. This figure, and this is a good one, talks about the idea, or it illustrates the notion of disintermediation. You say, now what are you talking about? Well, if you remember back from your econ course, you heard about intermediaries. Banks are intermediaries. They facilitate economic exchanges between parties. Okay, Wall Street is an intermediary. It facilitates the sale and purchase of stock, of equity, and of bonds, and the other financial products that are out there. And so what Loudon is talking about here is that, you know, the e-commerce allows the manufacturer to sell directly to the customer, okay? And so he shows you, if you cut out these, the distributor, the retailer, and cut out, you eventually get down to a good that's priced as cheaply as possible. Now, that assumption may or may not hold water, to be honest with you, because manufacturers may overprice their goods, and they typically do for a simple reason. Many goods that are purchased online get returned. The most notorious are shoes. Shoes are overpriced by as much as 30 to 50% online, simply because people will try in 2 or 3 different pairs of shoes, and then the one they like the best they'll keep, or the one that fits the best they'll keep, because it's you know, they're used to going to a shoe store and trying shoes on. They either fit or they don't. So this, in truth, yeah, in theory, the price is much cheaper, okay, and saves the consumer money. All right, but again, a manufacturer may build in additional price to cover shipping, etc. Now, if this covers everything, that's one thing, but I'm doubtful that, you know, that you see the savings of that magnitude. You just don't. This next figure is over here, and then just doing that. This walks you through kind of a sequence of events in terms of clicks that occur in e-commerce and in a purchase, and then walk you through that. And yeah, you go through some of the details, and this stuff all gets tracked, okay, and it's given the day and time, etc. And the authors do a pretty good job here of walking you through this transaction, so you can see the kind of data that gets collected in the back office. When we talk about e-commerce, you're really talking about 2 pieces. One of them, really 3. One of them is what we call B2B. That's business to business. Businesses who do transactions online, and only online. This is typically between suppliers or vendors and their customers. This is typically between shipping agents, forwarding agents, distributors, and a retailer. And so these transactions are, and that really is the largest part of e-commerce. What we experience is what's known as B2C, and that is business to consumer commerce, okay, where we buy something from somebody as an individual consumer. The third is what we would call C2C, and that is consumer to consumer in an auction setting. And the best example of that, of course, would be eBay. So there are some variations to electronic commerce, and to understand it best, you have to do that. Now, we'll close this off for a second, and the authors do a pretty decent job of showing us some things here. And as they walk you through, they give you kind of an overview of a recommendation engine. Now, I have a link in here for today, okay, that will, there's a link in here for you today that will show you some more information about recommendation engines, okay, and I would really encourage you to do that. Now, This here they're looking about, this is someone who buys books, and then here are some related items. And that's what recommendation engines do. They walk you through that process. Now, Amazon, their website is designed precisely to do that. And nowadays, almost everybody imitates the Amazon's methodology, their method, and it's really a methodology. This is, of course, you can tell I'm just going through figures. This shows you that whole process, okay, of the advertising networks that get created, okay, and the key part is this user profile database right here that really does become the strength of a recommendation plus engine plus a push where they'll send you an email and say, here's some stuff that's for sale, or here's an item that you might be interested in, or for pop-up ads and that type of thing. Okay, so there's a whole, if you look at this, there's a whole kind of system that gets created, okay, as your behavior is tracked. The digital breadcrumbs that you spread are there. Now, that's the good news, is that it just gives marketers an opportunity to really act upon what you do, not what you say you'll do or what the marketers think. On the other hand, it can be a little creepy to go hunt for new shoes, and then boom, the next thing you know, you've got, pop-up ads, banner ads, sidebar ads, stuff in your email encouraging you to buy things, okay? And it can be a little creepy, but again, we're still kind of learning this, and folks are still kind of figuring out, do I have their privacy rights? This figure here, 10.6, shows you how we have what we call a continuous replenishment or just-in-time type of inventory model, okay? Notice that you've got the firm, those are the people who are selling, all right? And they're working in concert with the supplier, okay? So when you buy stuff, say you go over to, let's say you go over to Home Depot and you order something. Home Depot doesn't deliver that. They might deliver some large items, but by and large, Lowe's, Home Depot, people like that, they're using a third-party vendor like a UPS, a FedEx, often the United States Postal Service. And so there's this flow of data, shipping data, the payment data, and then the production inventory requirements, meaning, okay, I sold 10 of these, then I need to be ready to replenish that. Now, over on the supplier systems side of this equation are things like just-in-time manufacturing processes, in which you don't make it unless somebody orders it, or you don't make it unless it's part of your safety stock. And I don't know how much of that you're getting in your production and project management course. My hunch is probably not a lot, maybe a lot more focus on the project management piece as opposed to the production piece. But it is electronic commerce enables you to do this because instantaneously that the sale's been made, and you do have the money in hand. Although a lot of vendors now will not bill your card until they've shipped. Okay. Now we'll go over from here and we'll take a look at this. Here's another preview. Now, when we talk about the idea of a net marketplace, okay, you have this whole constellation of buyers who come into this marketplace, and then you have suppliers who are selling all this stuff, and catalogs, sourcing. This is really more of what you'd see on a B2B type level, I think, than what you would see in terms of business to consumer. And again, all of this is about automating these processes as much as possible. Now, the next figure over here, we'll take a look at it real quickly. Well, we've gone through the continuous replenishment, but I wanted to show you this one, okay? And we'll just preview it real fast. This again shows you the revenues of billions. Again, we've talked about that in the sense of, okay, it's really still only 7% of all sales. Now, this figure here and this over here walks you through the various, what you would call presence when you have a full e-commerce effort or e-commerce presence. One in website, and notice that you've got traditional websites, mobile, tablets. They're all different. The technologies for these are all very, very different. So when they talk about a traditional website, they're talking about a website that looks and works on probably a laptop, okay? Then some that are mobile. And a key piece around this for mobile and for tablets are primarily two things. Number one, it's the size of the screen, okay, that's an issue. And number two, it's a bandwidth question, okay? And that, those kinds of activities, that are out there, you can see those are really not transactional in the sense that you and I would buy things. Other people buy stuff off their phone, buy stuff off their tablet all the time. Then you have the email, okay? And now each of these is its own kind of specialty, all right, and its own approach. Now, and notice the media that they provide you there in terms of updates, okay? And so you've got some different activities, more newsletters, updates. I get a lot of updates. They're emails actually, and I get some digital newsletters online from products I've purchased, which is kind of interesting. And then the social media piece, okay? And as I had shared with all of you, my wife and I bought a vehicle this year, and it has a very active and aggressive social media presence, because the first time we ever posted anything that indicated we had purchased that vehicle, we received a link to the web page for that product, and then I started getting emails about its performance and all kinds of things. Well, that was very interesting. So, but I've said before, social media in many ways are a solution looking for a problem. Then finally, offline media like they call print, TV, and radio. And pretty soon, print media are, you get stuff in the mail and you probably, if you're like me, you throw it in the trash unless you think it's important. TV and radio is another one of those called offline media, but I would be hesitant to really call them offline for a very simple reason. More and more people are utilizing multiple devices to watch television. I'm going to give you the best example, and it's one that's applicable to me. It's ESPN, okay? I can get ESPN on my desktop. I can get it on my television. I can get it on my phone. I can get it on my tablet. I mean, if I want to watch it, I just, boom, I go there and I watch. And that's because they wisely have said, we have a lot of people who want to watch it. And then if I want to also listen online, I can go on the radio. I can utilize like Sirius XM, which covers sports as well. And they're just a radio station with a server with multiple blades that stream different events. That's really all that's going on there. So, e-commerce has yet to really evolve into what it's an evolving kind of art, business practice. Now, I wanted to show you also again that this is stuff out of the book. These are transformational kinds of things that happen. Okay, and the key thing that I think is interesting here, and I'm going to bump this up just a little bit. Okay, I'll use the slider to come up with it. Is this the emergence of new business models? Okay, and one of the most unique things that I see happen, especially, and my wife is one of these people. She'll go to the store, and it might be Walmart, it might be it might be one of the malls, and she'll see a product, and she'll scan the barcode, and then go out and look to see if she can buy it online cheaper than she could buy it there. And so that's one of those ways where that the technology has kind of transformed that business. Now, again, social networking sites provide kind of a different approach, but I think the one that's the most important one is one we'll talk about here in a little bit, and that's what we call the long tail of technology. Now, I want to go ahead and I'm going to close this off here for just a sec, and I'll go back here, okay? And we're still, yeah, thank goodness we're still going. And I want to show you a resource that I found for you, and this is the long tail of technology. Okay, now this is a TED presentation. Okay, and this is from I believe his name is Chris Anderson. He is the CEO, or pardon me, the editor of Wired magazine. I think it's Chris Anderson. Yeah, and what he talks about there. Okay, and I would like you to go and take a look at it. Okay. And you can look at the transcript, obviously, because the transcript will be faster than looking at the video, although he's got some interesting things to say. But here's the point, okay? These technologies allow folks to sell items according to the long tail. You see, what do you mean? Well, it's Amazon Amazon is probably the first retailer of any kind to understand that if I treat my website, okay, like a catalog or a recommendation engine, which is what their website is, I can offer virtually anything. The only question becomes, does my vendor have the product, and do they have a third party, or can I enlist a third party to get the product to the customer? Amazon doesn't make books. Amazon doesn't make anything, but they have become an intermediary, okay, via a recommendation engine. So when you're buying things, okay, let's say if you go over and you buy a book, you'll see some third-party vendors listed a ton. And what these are people who sell through Amazon, and then Amazon handles the fulfillment, or maybe that vendor handles the fulfillment themselves, meaning they get the stuff packaged up and sent to you. Okay, so when we talk about the long tail, let's take books. Okay, Amazon does not need to sell more Harry Potter books than anybody else in the world, because most of their money is made with titles that might sell 50 copies in 20 years, might sell 1,000 copies, and that's long tail. In other words, if you take the bulk of sales are in the middle of that bell curve, and then you have all these outliers that just don't sell very much at all, okay, Amazon can offer them to you for sale, and you can buy them. Okay, and so that's how they go about. That's the whole notion of that long tail, and that's what gives them such a tremendous advantage. Now, I'd also like you to go over and take a look at this at this, I have the document for you for this TED Talk, and this is from a guy who talks about the future of distribution in e-commerce. I'm going to download this for a minute. Okay, and it's the future of delivery in our on-demand economy. Okay, how will delivery change? Well, we read in things about, for example, that Amazon, Google, Walmart, they're talking about autonomous vehicles, okay, that come to your place, and then they have a little robot that carries your junk out, or they're talking about having a drone drop the stuff, bring it to you and drop it. I think in 25 years, every home will have a locker of some kind, okay, that is refrigerated or heated, where you can get your food delivered to you. My wife and I, we got a interesting mailer the other day, and this is from a company in Oklahoma City who does delivery not for one food company, not one food retailer, but multiple food retailers, name brand restaurants, and you place your order, and boom, they bring it out to you. Well, think about it. What if you could order? You go. I tried using Walmart's ordering online, and I found it very unsatisfactory. It was just not getting good. I didn't have a good experience simply because substitution of items. If they didn't have something I wanted, they just substituted something, rather than letting me have a choice of not. And I drove up, and there it was, and I go, no, this is not what I wanted, so take it from me, and then they would reduce my bill. Very clumsy process. They could do a lot better at it, and hopefully they will for their sake. But this guy has some interesting things to say about how stuff will get delivered, okay, in the future. And it's going to change radically. It's going to be a real radical change. So I would like you to take a look at it. As I've said to you before, logistics companies, firms that are in distribution, they are going to be a tremendous source of some really excellent jobs for people who are detail-oriented or who feel comfortable working with things like networks or inventory, deadlines, and so forth. And I've found it interesting, and maybe there is one, but I went the other day and I searched on the internet, and I could not find one single solitary maritime university. You say, what's your point? Here's my point. 90% of everything that people buy in the world is transported via water, cargo ships, 90%. Yet there's not one institution in the world that trains people on handling that process. It's just mainly people who are maritime. Maybe they've been in the Navy in their nation, or they worked as a merchant marine in their nation, or they grew up in that business. But when you stop and think about it, that's a very, very that's a very sobering reality for us, and why it is so important for us to maintain shipping lanes that are free of pirates and other bad people. Okay, because if the stuff, if it doesn't get shipped, we don't get it. And it'd be a good idea for everyone is, if you really want to get a sense of that. Los Angeles has a massive harbor because it's a place where there's a tremendous amount of goods come into the United States from Asia. Certainly, the Port of New Orleans is another, and certainly the Port of New York City, New York, is yet another. And these are three gigantic ports. Of course, London is one, but you have, if you were, I've gone out and done searches before, but I would bet you at any given time, I'm just taking a wild guess, there are 40 or 50,000 cargo vessels around the world operating, and that doesn't include the gigantic oil tankers that carry petroleum all over the world. Well, I think this will be a TED video worth watching. certainly looking at the transcript. Okay. Now, I also wanted to walk you through. I've got some resources for you here, and there are people out there now who will build websites, e-commerce sites for you. And this is one of these marketplaces. Okay, you remember we talked about that just a minute ago. This is a marketplace where you can go and you can visit their site and you can put together your own e-commerce store. Okay. Now, when they say e-commerce site, that's more than just a website. They're also talking about an online analytic engine, okay, that allows people to search, that also has, it should have attached to it a store, okay, or let's, not a store, but a basket, okay, where people place the items they're going to purchase. They give you their credit card information or debit card information, or they give you a check, however they pay, and you get the money, and then you handle shipping arrangements. So each of these sites, okay, these are places that you can go and you can buy them, and they will help you develop, and they give you some tips about launching your online store, okay, and having that kind and having that data there. Again, this is just the best. There's several of those kinds of places out there that you could go to, and I chose that one because it looked like it had probably some interesting things for you to take a look at. Okay, now this is, people often wonder about Amazon and how they do their selling and etc. what they do, and here's one. Okay, and this is the FAQ for selling through Amazon. Okay. One of the scholarly associations that I work with, Scholarly Institute, we publish books, and we publish our books through Amazon. Now, if you want to buy a printed copy, we can get it printed for you, but our books are also for sale. They're for sale. They can be purchased in PDF form. Probably many of you bought the Loudon textbook in PDF, okay, or as opposed to, or is it in digital format, as opposed to a physical. Well, I don't want to say physical, a non-digital text, okay. But if you're wanting to sell online at Amazon, you want to get into the party, then they give you, okay, all the information in an FAQ on how to do that. And that becomes a question for you now to try to work yourself through if you really want to do that. There are a lot of businesses out there that just have a website, and all they want to do is provide. They're not selling you anything. They want to provide. They want contact with the customer. Now, if you may have heard of Google AdSense, AdSense. That is a ranking system devised by Amazon to figure out where to place people's ads based on relevance, and based on how tags are formatted, etc. There's a whole, we can have a whole course on search engine optimization. It's pretty complex, and this FAQ is not too bad in putting things in a layman's terms that you can see and you can understand. Then I have a resource for you on introduction to recommendation engines. I took a course on them 2 years ago, okay, and this is out of a publication called Data Economy, and they explain, I think, in pretty good terms, what do we mean by a recommendation engine, okay? And people, I have noticed, are becoming more and more sensitive, or more and more responsive to things like recommendations. How many stars does it get? I'm thinking like in Amazon. How many 5s, 4s through 2s? What do people write about it? Okay, what do they say about it? And the same thing like service companies. Okay, the local electricians, they like you to go to their website and tell about your experience. Oh, I'm Keith Harmon, and they came and did a fantastic job, and they're wonderful, and I think the price is fine. And you have people who are what we call amalgamators, and that would be somebody like Angie's List, okay, that tries to become an intermediary. Angie's List is an attempt to become the Amazon in dealing with folks who provide those kinds of services. Let's go over for just a moment. We'll take a look at Angie's List, all right? And so I'm going to do a quick search for it. Okay, and okay, and you can join for free, okay, and you can join for free, and she'll tell you everybody who gets a good rating or the recommendations people have used. This is like people who go out and eat it somewhere and do Yelp. Now, one of the things I've noticed, for example, when my wife and I, we go to church, or we go out and eat, or we go somewhere, I often will check in on Facebook, and Facebook now has incorporated this thing where they'll ask you some questions. Do they have parking? What do you think of the price, etc.? The first time it happened, I was kind of shocked, but then I realized, okay, Facebook's tracking this, and they're going to post this information, or they're going to convey this information back to their customer who's paying them for that data, so that when there are 150 of us who've checked in at I don't know, Chili's in Oklahoma City somewhere, and we ordered queso, and the queso was fabulous. Oh, okay, well, it's good information. Chili's wants to have it, but Amazon will provide it to them for a price. Okay, so it's an interesting kind of thing. Now, that's an excellent source to have in terms of the recommendations engine. And of course, these two, I would really like you to just take, and you could skip through them, but take 15 or 20 minutes between now and Wednesday to take a look at these, okay? Because I think it's worth your while. Again, as I've said, go down to the document, all right, and download it, and then go over and take a look at your at what they've got to say. And the reason being, these are some of the most knowledgeable people in the world. You can put it on closed caption if you don't want to disturb other people. You can read the transcript because you can read faster. And I just, boy, I've got people here that there's no way I could ever get them here to speak for us. We couldn't afford them. But here they are on TED, and they're out there because TED wants to promote these kinds of ideas and innovations. Now, I also want to do a couple of things today, and I'm going to go back up here to the discussion board, okay? And I'm going to have you put your print screens, and I'm going to see if I can see any of these, okay? And I'm going to try to log in using my OVU account. Okay, and if they're gonna, okay, view, and they've thrown this onto 365. Okay, and let's see what we've got. And I'm gonna take a look and see what Libby did. If it's gonna render for us, it's taking me to Office Online. I don't know if it's gonna render for me or not. Maybe it will. Okay, excellent. Okay, everybody, well, here are the shoes that Libby designed, and we'll pop these up here. Let's see if I can get that. Let me see if I can get these up a little bit more where we can all see them. There we go. Pretty cool, all right. And she's got, yeah, she's got the, I'll open this in Word because it's an accident. If I want to do that, okay. And then, well, they've got this, they want me to try and do this on Word. So let me diminish my screen and go over here to Word and see if I can get, this is a lot of trouble, but let's see if I can get Libby's to, nope, that's strange. Well, that's, cancel this off. And let me see here. I want to open that, and we'll close this now. But here, you got it looks like you got some nice designs there for your Nike. You got, and I'm not sure what color these are because it's not running out, but thank you. Looks like you got pretty cool stuff you designed there. Okay, so thank you for that, Libby. Now I'm just going to take me back here. And I'm going to go back in here to the analysis. I'm going to take the shoe design off. Okay, and let me close this on recommendations. Let's see what Shane did. I'll probably have to go through this same thing. If it's going to render up for me or not. Oh, Shane, my friend. Everybody, Shane, I didn't know you were a Porsche man, but well, here we are. And pretty cool. Shane's got Porsche, a 911. A nice vehicle. And Shane, it's only $343,000 and $343,390. Nicely done. Nicely done. I like it. Okay, let me look and see what we got here. Sam. Okay. Let's see if it's going to ring for me. This may be some kind of office. Ooh, now, okay, Maserati, nicely done. And this Maserati clocks in at $196,000. Hey, I'm a cheapskate compared to you guys. Holy smokes, I'm talking about $80,000, $90,000 cars. You guys are talking cars running in six figures and up. Beautiful, beautiful car. Maserati, but makes a nice piece of machinery. And let's see what Dalton did. Here's his link, his shoe design. And I can request access, I guess, if you're going to let me in. Well, they're awaiting approval. And then let's see if I can get, Hudson, let's see if we can get out to your link. Okay. I got a little bit of a problem there, but I thank you for that. And for those of you who didn't render, I'll play around and see what I can do. Now, since we're all about e-commerce this week, okay? And I have, like I said, there are those two TED Talks. I'd like you to take a look at them because they are very fundamental in understanding delivery. That's order fulfillment. That piece is a massive challenge in e-commerce, okay? And when you think of the three big dogs that are lining up to have a battle, you've got Alphabet, which is basically Google's parent company, okay? You've got them wanting to get into the delivery and the retail scene. You see Walmart, okay? They're out there, and then Amazon. Now, this weekend, Amazon did something that really put everybody in the retail world on edge, and that is they have now applied for a licensure to distribute pharmaceutical products. And I think they've got approval. And I heard on the nightly business report on public TV, which if you get PBS, the nightly business report is a great place, tremendous show. But I think they have approval in 19 states. Now, you and I both know if Amazon gets into the pharmaceutical business, what they could do to Walmart and CVS, etc., especially if they get into the delivery piece. Now, you can get my wife and I trade with Walgreens, okay? and we can get stuff delivered if we want to, but it usually is 90-day supplies. And I guarantee if Amazon gets a chance, they're going to get it down to where they'll have it to you out there the next day. So rather than you driving up to a Walgreens, they have that stuff delivered to you. And these are some of the kinds of things that this guy down here, Alan Ameling, will be talking about in this TED Talk. So we look at this issue of the long tail, and that is how we can use digital technology, the e-commerce, to offer just about anything, okay? And then how do we get it to the customer? Those are the two great challenges that await people out in e-commerce. Now, digital technology, digital goods, that's a whole different matter, okay? And I'll take you real quickly to a site, my favorite, and that's Turner Classic Movies. I'm a classic movie buff, and you can go there to their they have a collection store. They have collectibles. You can buy DVDs, Blu-rays. They have movies on demand. They have discussion boards. They have 2 cruises a year, and what they'll have a cruise, and this cruise is like a 3 or 4 day cruise. They'll have stars, from the 1950s, those who are still alive, and those people will be there to talk about their life and the movies that they made. And then they also have They have a film festival once a year that's there in Los Angeles. It's in Hollywood, and then they have tours that they run in LA and in New York. And they have now. I went through my second. Really, they've run 3 what we call MOOCs in concert with Ball State University's our film program. The first one, this summer was one of the movies of Alfred Hitchcock, which is just unbelievable. One unbelievable artist. The year before that, if I'm not mistaken, it was I think it was Westerns, and the first one they did was over film noir. Which, if you're a movie buff, let me say this: don't discount a lot of those old black and white movies. They do some stuff with black and white coloration that's just incredible, and plus, you're going to find some of the best acting you'll ever see. And if you're like me, and you've kind of had enough at times of big animated or computer generated stuff with all kinds of or stuff that's got really gory violence, that's probably a place you want to go to see some great movies. I would strongly suggest it. Now, I have a little exercise that I want you guys to do today, okay? And we're going to try this again. And what I'm going to ask you to do is go out and open this up in the discussion. All right? And I've got print screens of your dream house. I'm going to go and edit this. And I'm and ask you, let me edit it. I'm going to ask you to post and post a link of your dream house and upload it here. Okay, because I'm these rendings on these. I'm not wanting to get I'm not wanting to get mixed up with Microsoft Online completely. So I'm going to post a link to your dream house here, okay? And I'll save that. And that's now just to kind of get us started. And remember, I've got you about 25 or 30 minutes worth of viewing there to take a look at these two TED Talks. But let me encourage you to go out between now and Wednesday. and go out to, I like to go to Zillow, okay? Okay, and I'm going to go out to Zillow Real Estate, okay? And I'm going to find a place, let's see. Well, these are some out by where I live, but I think I'll put Nichols Hills. If you're from Oklahoma City, you know where Nichols Hills is. Okay, Nichols Hills, Oklahoma. And I want to buy one. And if you know Oklahoma City, you know I'm dreaming here, folks. Oh, that I could. But, you know, probably I'm protected from it. But these are homes for sale. My wife and I love to drive over and look at these. That's only 1.5 mil. There's one for 3.3. Oh, that's one my wife and I absolutely love, this one. And it's a mere 925. We like that. We love that house. Every time we go by there, we see it. We like to go out there and look at houses. Well, let's see what we got going on here. Yeah, this looks like my house. It does. Ooh, it does. It does for sure. Look at that, my friends. Nice and modern. Look at that. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This has Keith written all over it. Yeah. Oh yeah. Gotta be there. Now, so you know, go out there and you know, get a link and for 2 or 3, and you can send them to me. Now, I'm gonna go over to the New York Times, and I'll open up a new link here. So I want you to find your dream home. I'm going to go to the New York Times, and I'm going to see if I can find there it is. There's the real estate. Okay, and houses that sold for well, here's some townhouses over each on West Chelsea there in New York City. Nice one. And here's a new condominium. Let's look at that one. It's, oh yeah, nice. I wonder what kind of view those have. Ooh, isn't that pretty? Oh, you got a view of the skyline. Yeah. I definitely belong there. Definitely. I'm convinced that I was switched at birth. My parents were billionaires. I don't know about you. That's what I believe. Now, here's some more homes for sale in New York City. Of course, you can see they're built up. And then let's go over to the LA Times. I always love to look over there. So we'll go to Los Angeles Times. In fact, what I like is you can go there and you'll see what the movie stars and athletes and people like that. And let's look at the, I think we'll go here. And we'll go to sections. And let's see, here we go. Here's real estate. I bet we're going to see some cool stuff here. Okay, now there's San Diego house. Okay, now let's see. This was once owned by John Gilbert, the great actor. This is not too bad. Okay, and we'll take a peek in it. It's a nice little garden home. Not bad. Not bad at all, my friends. Pretty nice. See, Kid Rock, if you're those. There's that's 9.5 million for his cabana. They have a section over here called hot property. But now, I would also like to encourage you, other than those two places, to go to. We went to Zillow. Another place you go is Trulia. And I'll bet you'll find some other real estate out there. And let's see. We'll do a little search out there. And you can see some of the neighborhoods there in Shawnee. All folks have got for sale. That's not bad. That's right here on English. Oh, we got an indoor pool. Look at that, my friends. 265 grand in that, and they got, oh mercy, they've got an indoor pool. Looks like they do that. I think that's what I was saying. So I want you to find some of those and send me your links for what would be your dream home. Now they've got 35 photos. Let's take a look at this real quick. That's nice. Not bad, my friends. Just a little hovel for me. Not bad at all. You could do some updating and I thought I saw a swimming pool in this jewel, but maybe not. But then you can request some info. You can go out and see the place. That's pretty, very nice. These folks are living pretty good. They're living in American dream. I need a little update there, I think. You're going to encounter that. I thought they had a pool, and I think this is interesting. But as you can see, yeah, this drives realtors crazy. Oh, look at that. Now, I don't know about you, but I can see myself in there taking an early morning dip before I come over and slave all day. So, yeah, hey, and only $265,000. Not bad at all. Trillia is an excellent site, and I think you get my drift. I'd like you to do that and find your dream home. I bet some of you are going to find your dream home in New York City. Some of you are going to find your dream home out in Los Angeles, out in Hollywood, maybe San Diego, maybe Palm Springs. You might find your dream home, I don't know where. But yeah, and I'll bet if you do some searching, you're going to find some that are homes that are $1 million and up anywhere. And try some of the major real estate companies too. But again, this way for hunting for a house is so different from how it was when I was a kid growing up. It's just unbelievable. Or even as a young person when I built my first house, just completely different. Well, I think I've made my point, and we've gone about 51 minutes here. I've got you some good stuff to go look at over on at TED, the long tail technology, and hear what Anderson has to say about that. He's the editor of Wired magazine, and then Alan Ameling talking about the future of delivery in the demand economy, and that is people buy something, I want it now. And so I think those are two good things for you to take a look at. Now, as I mentioned before, all right, and I'll go up in the announcements. Okay, I am going, the screencast for Wednesday will be pre-recorded. As I mentioned there, fun awaits me at the dentist's office. So I know some of you are praying for my demise on the dental table. I don't think it'll happen, but I know one thing. I'm going to be whacked pretty hard. So, I'm going to pre-record a Wednesday, November 1 session for you. Will be pre-recorded. I will do it Tuesday, and I'll have it up there for you, and that way we'll be done. So you won't miss anything. Okay. And again, I hope you're starting to see. It'll be interesting to hear from some. I hope you're starting to see the value of this, because by me being able to record this for you, you can come in and look at it when you want to. And let me offer you some tips. You may want to watch these screencasts about 10 minutes and stop, 15 minutes and stop for a bit. Take them in chunks. And the reason is because you don't have to sit through them like you would if you were here in class. You sit through the whole thing. You can go back, you can go forward, and use that video and use the capability in that technology, okay? And I would always have my book out. I'd always have a notepad or something to write on, and I try to curate resources for you that I think will be of some benefit or some use, or will amplify what is on the text. So I'll do a pre-recording for you on Tuesday. I'll have it posted over there so you can look at it on Wednesday, okay? Listen, folks, I appreciate it. Let me acknowledge all of you who are MIS warriors. Alyssa's here. Houston, Kristen, Kay West, you're with us. Libby, thank all of you for being here. And again, like I said, you're MIS warriors, and I appreciate the good work. And I'm going to take a look at, for some of you who designed your products, but go out there and take a look for your dream house, okay? Out there, and you can look to Zillow, Trillia. I showed the LA Times, or look for stuff out there. So if you think you need a Malibu if you think you need a house that faces Malibu, okay, faces the Pacific Ocean, which I think the Lord has been speaking to my heart, told me, Keith, you need to live in Malibu. and have a home on the Pacific Ocean. And he's been speaking to me. I believe it's him, although it may not be him. My wife thinks it's a voice from somewhere else, but that's another story. But do that and post your link there. It'll be interesting, and we'll be able to take a look at it next week. And then next week, I'll be back to a regular schedule. So thank you for your time. Appreciate it. And keep up the good work.